The world of love with God and the world of Lucifer. God gave birth to love, so He is the guarantor that all love can grow, which is connected with Him. His love is also like the water of life, which keeps constantly the creation alive. Otherwise, without God, creation would have died long ago. For better understanding, I want to give an example here. No garden can survive without water. There was such a time for the love in eternity where no one was to feel it. There was no one who wanted to get to know love and no one who wanted to say something about love. No one could have an opinion about anything because there were no angels, no human beings, and not any creation existing. There was no one who said something and no one who could listen about love, but there was absolute silence. Even there was such a time where was no concept about love. There was only one who could give birth to love, to life, and to the beauty. We call him God. We should feel sorry about ourselves, how little we know about such a God. The love with God begins where it loses its senses and enters the world of mysticism. These are not the last steps, but they begin here. I have seen countless creations and also countless heavens and dimensions. I have also traveled in black hole with multi-speed of light. There where the black hole ends is the beginning of a new eternity. To make a long story short, I have seen many creations and beings with different natures who claim to love God. However, I have not seen any being that began its love with God in such a way that it forgot itself and became one in heart with God. Many say, God is love and love is God. About this topic, I gave a very clear answer. God is the subject of love. He has given life to love. He has given reality to love, and God is the destination of love. I only can pray and hope that human mind, which lives most of the time in a whirlpool, can understand this basic truth. Since fallen angels and Lucifer brought darkness to human souls also, all their screws have loosened. They should be tightened again so mind can function in the right direction. I have seen and met many intellectual and knowledgeable people. However, I could observe that Lucifer had loosened their screws so much that simple things made no sense for them. On the contrary, they need very complicated explanations to understand things. Lucifer says in spiritual world that he is the fate of such people. They belong to him because the screws of his own mind have also loosened. Some of his screws loosened so much that they fell out. Lucifer is happy about this matter, that he has brought human beings and also certain of other beings to the same level like him. Lucifer let his mind and that of others dry up so that they totally ignore the beauty of love and life. Nobody should ask any question about God because God is the true source of love and life. There can be given many explanations about hells, but they are limited dimensions and walls are surrounding them. When God, prophets or light beings go down to break those walls of satanic dimensions, Lucifer and dark beings shout out that everything is okay with them in this impasse. One can experience all bad fates in those hells. Actually, human souls should be citizens of the total eternity and enjoy countless creations. Unfortunately, this is not the case. I will give here an example. The people of this earth who have lost their purpose in God block in many cases also others to take their journey to God because they are their relatives, friends, and acquaintances. Those people have parallel as Lucifer who destroyed many bridges of blissfulness and made the simple way to the most difficult way. For example, I have met Lucifer certain times in spiritual world. He is perfect in his pride, selfishness, and destruction. Such things someone can learn from him and the rest of the sicknesses too. Whenever he opens his mouth, he only likes to talk about himself. One time I met him in a very isolated place where no one was there. He said to me, "I accept the truth that God's path is very simple and non-complex. I made this path to the most difficult path for mankind since I sat down on it." These words astonished me. I asked him, "How does that come?" He answered, "It is like this. I took away from mankind the path of love towards God." I told him what astonishing truth he was telling me. First, he stared at me, and then he said, "Don't try to make me foolish. I would have never revealed this truth to you if heavens had not revealed it to you before. Those heavenly beings are your spies. Otherwise, people like you do not come so far. You know by yourself how successful you are in your mission life. 40 years are gone and you have not taken a step forward." When I heard this, I felt very sad and my heart was broken because I heard the bitter truth about me from Lucifer. In the moment when I wanted to take off, to leave him, he said to me, "You do not need to be in a hurry to jump and fly away from me. I am not yet finished. Since I am sitting on the straight way to God, I have made so many complications for mankind. I came from right and left side, from behind and from front to mankind. I have made it totally unthankful towards God. The most people show their bad mood when they hear only the name of God. They do not want to hear anything about Him. I have brought humanity to the same level as wild animals. They have ears, but they don't like to hear about God. They have hearts, but I have destroyed the basis to think and feel about God, because their mind should function in everything but not in God. I am very proud that I have rusted human mind. I have destroyed all cables which should be connected to heart." I said to him, "Just explain me what it means coming from right and left side, from front and behind." He answered, "I hate you and I also hate your presence on earth. You play with my feelings that you have to learn such astonishing truth from me. Didn't your dad in heavens explain you this matter? Do the beings in heavens who count you to their family have no time, so I have to guide you from time to time?" I answered, "I take wisdom from my enemy too, but this is not your wisdom. You have stolen it. You are a thief. When all cobras come together with their cunning knowledge, they can learn from you how to confuse the true wisdom." Satan shouted out, "Get lost from here. If you didn't have God's light in your spirit, I would teach you a lesson." Suddenly, he changed his attitude and turned his cobra snake eyes to me and said, "You're my guest. I should not treat you so badly. When I said I come from right side to mankind, it means that I will confuse religious people. I will bring such a conflict among of them that they become enemies. I will bring many wars among religions that other people will lose the trust in religions. I will bring many denominations in each religion. I will confuse the religious path so intensively that the believers will lead a routine life of religion. I will take away the main longing for God. When I said I will come from left side, it means that I will tempt mankind to have such wishes and desires which are purposeless for eternal life. I will make them to such materialistic victims and bring so much darkness in their spirits that they will not be able to hear the voice of their heart and soul. They will lead such an unaware life that at the end of their lives, when their spirit will depart from their spiritual body, nothing will help them in eternal life. They will come to live in my world and in my dimensions. When I said I will come from behind, I meant I will find the base with their mind. I will tempt them such a way that they will make many wrong decisions to waste their lives. As a result, they will be so egoistic and arrogant that everything should move around them. I brought also my dictators through such temptations on earth. They were my people and my prophets. Now, in hell, they are not happy with me, but on earth they were very inspired by me. When I will come from front to mankind, I will give them such habits of me that their eyes see that what they are doing is evil, but they cannot live without it. And when someone will point out their evil habits and bad ways, they will turn on to this person and say, "Yes, I know by myself, you don't need to tell me what is good for me." It fills them with hate and annoys them when they are told their weaknesses. If someone doubts about his self-esteem and respect because of me, he will spend his whole life dealing with his self-doubts. Such people grow very quick, thus become strong dirty bombs, whose energy I am. In the past, most of these people you could find among kings. Today, such people you can find in a big variety in the politics, and of course I exercise my influence in all areas. As a result, they believe that they are the cleverest people on earth. Nobody can be like them. When you tell such people that I exist and I'm the evil source, then they look at you like you are crazy. He wanted to explain me more, but I said to Lucifer, "Today I learned a lot from you. I feel very heavy." I wanted to take off, but he said, "Stop, wait a moment. I wanted to ask you when you have ever received an inner guidance about me, just as I gave it to you today." I answered, "In the age of 14, when I was traveling in heavens, angels gave me a lot of information about you." He looked at me and said, "You are a very natural, nice and honest boy." I said to him, "Why you call me boy?" He said, "Because you still have to grow a lot on this field." I replied, "There will be no time in eternity when someone can say arrogantly or naively, 'Now I do not want to grow.' On this day, those who say something like that shovel their grave in which their own soul is buried." I know one person who says as an arrogant being, "I do not need to grow further." He asked, "Who is this?" I answered, "He is standing in front of me, Lucifer, who became Satan." He said, "Now it's time for us to depart." I took off. When I looked back, Lucifer was talking very angrily with himself. He said, "I hate angel creation. If all angels had been united with me and had not revealed hidden secrets to human prophets long ago, I would have packed the bags of human beings and would have destroyed them." I traveled in many hells. Lucifer has created billions and billions of hells and has taken his evil people there. He has given them numerous of his sicknesses. Those dimensions are very dark and fearful, and there is a constant violence there. Once a while I see some light in hells. These are the beings which go down behalf of God to help the spirits. However, they became so black that any help failed and no force could get them out of there. Those light beings are trying to give guidance, but the black spirits always shout out, "First, you have to bring us out, and then we will believe you." This is my observation in life after death. I even can speak all my life about the content and my observations of spiritual life. I have to say that I was not yet 6 years old when I started to travel in spiritual world. This was God's kindness for me. In one night, I was able to travel through hundreds and thousands of dimensions in God's heavens. I could observe the nature of growth very closely. An intellectual-minded person cannot understand how this phenomenon is possible. I have seen that Lucifer's disease infect many other creations. In short, one can make the following conclusion about him. He's the form of AIDS from which you cannot separate yourself through spiritual journeys, beliefs, and thoughts. The only alternative is God. If someone falls in love with God, they can reach their goal in the shortest way because Lucifer never grew through love. There are a lot of lights existing in paradise which only can travel horizontally with different speed in spiritual world. You need the direct light of God in your spirit to travel vertically towards heavens. Under no circumstances someone should compare paradise with heavens because they are two different realms. In paradise are countless dimensions which belong to spirits who are still growing. They still have relative darkness in their light. I call the dimensions of paradise the relative stages of development for spiritual growth. Is God Almighty? Astonishing truth was revealed. Until now, founders of religions explained that God is Almighty. But they did not tell mankind in which realm He is Almighty. People who don't believe in God very often raise these questions. Where is God? Why does He not help us? So many wars have taken place on earth until today. In many parts of this world, people and children are dying from hunger. Every day, people are hit by accidents, bad luck, and variety of diseases, and many die from it. We are particularly affected when there are close relatives among them. Many religious founders have directly or indirectly received the answer that human beings go through all the suffering because they have lost their home. They need to rebuild their base with God. For example, Buddha, Isaiah, Jesus, Muhammad, and many more prophets received the answer how the new environment of the ideal world will take place. The question is, did mankind follow the pattern to receive salvation? The answer is very loud, no, they did not. On the contrary, human beings took every wrong step in their life to invite bad luck for themselves, for their children, and for the world. The painful truth is that Lucifer has thrown fat in their eyes. He himself left the path of blissfulness, and further, he has given his kind of aids to mankind. That is why the new world, as God promised to mankind through the prophets, was never realized. Humanity should have only fulfilled 5% of its responsibility, and even that was too much for them. God has always fulfilled his 95% of responsibility and even more. I already dealt extensively with this topic in my first book, God Reveals Himself to Mankind as a Visible God. If someone wants to go into more detail, I recommend this book to them. I come back to the question, is God Almighty the way religious founders have described it? Here, I want to tell what God revealed to me about it. One midnight, I was praying to God in the forest on the same place where I met Him. God's light came and uplifted me. I was flying vertically. After crossing countless different heavens, I met God in the eternity. He was sitting in the space. I went near and bowed in front of Him. I lifted up my face and said to God, I did not ask any heaven and either any glory from you, because since I met you as a child, You are my heaven, and you are everything for me. I got everything the day you gave me your kindness and love to me. Beside you, I have no wish. From morning to evening, and in every moment of my life, I am very thankful to you from the bottom of my heart, and that from time to time you give me the opportunity to meet you. God came near me, kissed my forehead and then my head. He let me sit down beside him. He said to me, "No word can express my love for you. You will be always my sunshine, because you have not complained about anything to me like other human beings and prophets. When you were a child, I saw the day I would choose you. All your life, in any dark circumstances, and in whatever pain and sorrow you went through, and whatever you sacrificed for the sake of my will, you always wanted to make me happy. I went under the deepest shell of your heart where no one can look. I've seen that I'm your heaven, and you don't have any wish beside me. This is very true. You even did not ask me something for yourself like the other prophets. You have loved me unconditionally, and unconditionally you have lived for my will. Your service for mankind is unconditionally too. I'm very happy with you that you see mankind as my family and as your family. Whoever has such a heart will find out that my love dwells there. I go very deep in the hearts of mankind and other beings of the different parts in creation. I can see for what they live and what they want to reach in their life. According to their mind and heart, they give certain purposes to their life. In this way, they can recognize and see by their own fruits in spiritual life for which purpose they have lived and how they spend their lives. Most of the time, the way they live and what they do has nothing to do with me. Most of the time, the way they lead their lives and which purpose they pursue has nothing to do with me. Whatever goodness they have received so far, this is from me. Whatever bad luck and evil they have received, for this they are responsible by themselves, because they took the steps in this direction. They not only passed on the bad luck and difficulties to their own children, but even passed them on the future generations, because they are deep connected with each other. However, I call you because I want to entrust you with a secret. I revealed this secret to you in my first book. God reveals himself to mankind as a visible God, but you did not understand it fully. Therefore, I called you to give you more information. You remember when I was dominated by countless shells in eternity, I used my consciousness and my mental power to come out of those dark shells. Nevertheless, I could not come out from those dark shells, which dominated me, even I became aware of my surrounding. The will was there, but it was not enough to come out from the dark eternity. My emotion was the main power from which light could begin, because I desperately wanted to come out. No eternity can reach my emptiness, my loneliness, and my sadness. Don't forget, I am the creator of light. I am not the creator of darkness. Darkness existed in the eternity before me. At first, I created 19 beings that are just like me. Nevertheless, I am also their God. You have seen them and you have met them. They can go through any dark hole to reach the other side of a new eternity because I gave them my light. They have a vertical, ununified, and absolute relationship in heart and soul with me. I count you among them. That's why we are together 21. Lucifer was born later, not in the golden or blue dimensions, but in white light dimension. He was one of the 52 beings of the white light dimensions who found out many secrets. Lucifer learned a lot from the other 51 beings, especially more detailed explanations. Many details are so complicated that even you don't know all of them. But the most important secret Lucifer discovered is that if someone doesn't have a deep emotional love relationship with me, the light cannot come in the spirit of this person. He also found out how he can cut off the deepest emotional love bases between beings and me in different parts of creation. This is the only way he can separate them from me. This enabled him to bring dark elements into the spirit of the beings, which let them fall into deeper dimensions, where Lucifer is their lord. He brought inside of himself those dark elements, which were dominating me in the dark eternity. When my light goes in dark dimensions and in hells to different beings and to mankind, I cannot pull them like a magnet because they have darkness inside of them. Though I have created all beings, mankind, and countless creations, but my magnetic gravity does not work on those beings and mankind who have dark bases with Lucifer. I cannot bring them into light to higher heavens. I go to those dark hells and dimensions, but I cannot help them. My heart is broken, and I have to tell you that I am not almighty the way religions have described me. If I want, I can destroy Lucifer and all those creations, but I have a parental heart. Therefore, I don't do it. It will not be a salvation to destroy my own souls, beings and creations, but it would cause a conflict inside of me. In future, whenever I would create a new creation and new beings, they could see that I am a god of conflict and contraction when they will grow towards me. They would find out that I destroyed my own creation and my loved ones in the past. I gave you only an explanation what would happen, but I will never do it. If you take all parental hearts of mankind together, still their love for their loved ones cannot express how much I love each one of them. I am the source of love, and I give every relationship of love which can be described to mankind. They can experience all those loves in a family. There are countless eternities and creations where beings of different natures are living. I have given the expression of parental part also to those creations. Whenever human beings and other beings love me with whole heart and I become the subject of their love, then there will be a give and take of light elements. Light will come in their spirits. The deeper they love me, the more light elements come to their souls. Through my light, such spirits become free in eternity, and they can fly with speed of light or multi-speed of light according to their love relationship with me. They can be in a few seconds or even in 1 second in any part of creation, eternity or heavens. They can complete their growth in my love. Heavenly beings which have my light go to the hell and dark dimensions because of me to inspire those spirits to take the right steps to separate themselves from darkness. As you know, they bring very less result because Lucifer made this process almost impossible in hell. In the countless middle and neutral dimensions, those heavenly beings bring relatively result. It depends how much darkness and relative light those spirits have. You know many secrets. When the right time has come, you have to share them with fellow men. Lucifer gave his sickness to countless beings, and they became like him in the hells. They have so many bases with him, and they are bounded to him. They have so much darkness in their spirits, and they have multiplied many hells. Therefore, I made many external creations, and I began the process to give spirits a body. In this way, they can bring out the darkness of their spirits in the shortest time. However, also on earth and in different parts of creation, Lucifer has confused mankind and other beings. There are other intelligent people who draw the right conclusion through their understanding, but they are surrounded by their fallen desires, which make them victims of this evil environment. They give their life different purposes and forget this main purpose with me. So, at the end of their life, when they go to spiritual world, nothing helps them, because without me everything is meaningless in spiritual life. Thank you, my beloved son, that you came so far to knock at my heart, that I could reveal you this truth. If mankind asks why this truth could be not revealed earlier, then you can reveal them another secret. The spiritual journey is the life of heart, and the heart is directly connected to me. I am the subject and main destination of heart. There, spirits make observations and experiences according to their growth.